Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Na'Vi versus OG in the Epic League, the lower brackets as well. A very scary place to be in any tournament. So both of these two teams are going to be trying pretty damn hard to make sure they're not the ones getting knocked out today. Na'Vi, they were in the upper brackets yesterday, but after that tough series against Viking, only barely losing, being forced to now play up against OG. So the odds are, it feels like they're stacked against them. OG's has been really playing really well lately. A very scary team to go up against. But Na'Vi, they've been playing pretty solidly themselves, so they might be able to take this series. We'll have to wait and see who actually ends up coming out on top. But I imagine both teams are going to be putting a lot of effort into this. So we'll see who, obviously, who does become the victor. But the bans coming out, pretty standard bans, really. The Shen get taken out, as Always Wanna Fly does roll that. Roger, sorry, actually rolls it pretty damn well. That was a Slardar, very high meta pick. Na'Vi making sure they take away that Morphling, because one of the most favoured combos for OG is Sven Morphling. It's really disgusting. The Morph just gets the Ags, and then you got these two Svens flying around the map with the Ags upgrade. It's very scary to go up against, so make sure they're not going to suffer that. Okay, Sven was picked up, but my game shows that he's not there. It's an invisible Sven. So just make sure you remember, boys and girls, that it is there. So see what OG you're going to grab to pair with this IO. A lot of teams have been pushing this IO into more of a forward position. I'm not sure how many times OG has done it. I know it's a very favoured hero of No-Tail, so I think they're a lot more comfortable running it as a standard position 5. And they will either grab the Ursa, so that's most likely going to be in the hands of mid 1 for that position 1 role. There is the possibility that it could be put onto Seb for the off lane. It can work, and then the IO could just go for Soxa in the off lane. We'll have to see if that's something they go for. But okay, what's going on? Why is Lina now invisible as well? The game's not showing me the top picks. Hang on, I'm gonna leave and then come back in. Right, just doing this just work? Well, it made the Sven appear, but he's frozen. What? Is it? Right, okay, I'm gonna re-kick because there's just the bans going on, so well, the bans are important. They're not quite as important as the actual picks, so we'll make sure we don't miss those. Loading. Alright, we're back. And they're still invisible! Gaben! Fix your game, man! What is this? What is this? The things we have to put up with as Dota players, eh? So, well, I'm not going to try anymore. They're just gone. They're invisible. You just got to make sure you read these names. Don't forget they're there. But OG, they ban out the Beastmaster and the Batrider, focusing towards general full out off lane. Want to make sure they don't get any heroes that do relatively well against an Ursa. Want to make sure that mid 1 has probably the best possible game that he can and become a very scary dominant force. But we'll see what position this Lina is going to go into in the hands of Na'Vi. They do like to put it in Roger's hands for the position 4. It can also go mid for Iceberg. I know it's not really one of the heroes he tends to play. He quite likes his melee mid heroes. Everyone's got a slight little favourite when it comes to their certain positions. So we'll see if this Lina could transfer to that mid laner. Definitely possible. OG would take away the Mars. So all three heroes, yeah, as I say, and just heavily focused on towards general. There's a few more of his sort of key heroes that he likes to pick up. Something like the Void Spirit, the Pangolier, with some more of his favourite picks. But you still want someone who could do well against the Ursa. I mean, the Pangolier could be nice because you'd always be able to like get that swashbuckle away if you're caught in a bad situation. Or sort of similar with the Void Spirit with the Dissimulate. You can try and dodge out that way. Even though the Dissimulate's not really the best sort of escape because it is a little bit of time for the Ursa to react and start heading to where you're probably going to end up popping out. So see what Na'Vi going to take away with their final ban. Remove the Enigma, they removed the Phoenix. And now take away the PA as well. So maybe they're just covering their bases just in case this Ursa does end up going into the off lane. They'll make sure that the PA isn't there to really screw over the Sven. So yeah, you know, it's not exactly like it's a wasted ban. I can see the reasons behind it. That's for sure. So we'll see what they can grab up for their third hero now. Probably going to be their second support role. Probably fly to Moonserve pickup. And it is a Void Spirit. Okay, so the Radiant side is invisible. I don't know what's going on up here. Who knows? So the Void Spirit is grabbed. There is the possibility for Roger to put this into the position 4 role. But it is most likely going to be for General in that off lane. It is one of the heroes he does enjoy picking quite a lot. So we'll see how this pick ends up rolling for him. Obviously, OG's heroes pick up first. So most likely going to be looking for Sux's pickup, I imagine, or Seb's. Most likely Sux's. Then you give your cause a better chance to have a reaction pick to the 4th pick of Na'Vi. And they are going to go for that Shadow Demon. So if they're going to go for a Shadow Demon, it means they want to pick an offlaner who can try and use the easy setup from the Disruption. So we'll see what sort of hero they are going to grab for that scenario. I mean, the Mars has already been taken out. The Sladar's gone. Alina also removed. Possibly, it could be the ET, perhaps. I mean, I know that the ET is not exactly like it's a big setup for the Disruption, but it just basically lands an easy stomp. And the Undying is the last pick for this phase for Na'Vi, so that is going to be their position 5 secured. So it's looking like it's just the mid laner for Iceberg left to pick up on the side of Na'Vi. And so far, looking at this lineup, they've got a nice bit of front line with the Undying and the Svem. They're going to be able to chuck a bit of assistance from afar while the Void Spirit's just hopping in and out, cause as much chaos as he can. So they're going to want a hero for their mid that can really try and capitalise on the fact that pretty much all the sort of big roles are secured. Maybe they might want to grab a hero that can provide some sort of big teamfight ultimate. That is the main thing that they're lacking right now. I mean, all they've got for teamfight is the Tombstone and Flesh Golem. So maybe they want some sort of AoE lockdown. But what sort of mid heroes provide AoE lockdown? And it's not something trolly like running Tide onto mid. Maybe a Puck could be pretty good. Yeah, the Puck could be quite nice. Always incredibly elusive, so be able to dodge out the Ursa pretty easily. But also with the silence, you might be able to get a catch onto the Ursa before he can get the rage off and try and survive. But as you take up the Tiny now, so it's looking like a core Tiny, most likely going to go into hands of Topson for the mid lane. I don't think it's really a hero that Seb rolls with all that much. Unless, of course, this is going to be a core Shadow Demon. There is that possibility. It's something OG have run in the past, put it into hands of Topson for the mid lane. It's not exactly like it's been the most solid of like hero pickups, but you know, it has worked for him in the past. So is the potential that we might see this hero coming out in that role. Na'Vi, they ban out the Centaur, so yeah, as they are thinking as well, this is going to be for Tops in the mid. Still looking to take away Seb's possible next pickup. And as I was saying, trying to figure someone who can benefit from the disruption from Shadow Demon. Centaur is one of those able to get super close to get the cool off, the stop. Sorry, I'll say cool because I'm thinking about maybe Axe could be the pickup as well for the side of Na'Vi, OG right now. Possibly. It does hurt quite a lot when the Sven's laid into himself, so probably it will force him to get an early BKB. Also, you know, can catch the Void Spirit, stop him from just hopping in and out, try and lock him down in place, get the rest of the team to try and burst him, possibly. What sort of hero could they possibly pick up to benefit from it? Not too sure. Possibly. they could maybe grab like an offlane Viper. It can be quite annoying for a Sven to deal with that. Just the Viper Strike providing such a slow really hinders your ability just to run around and do a lot of damage in the team fights if you're just at a constant crawling speed. So I mean, if you take the Viper as well, it's probably going to mean that well, I suppose actually if you take the Viper, then you're going to be taking the Axe. Interesting picks. We'll have to see. Let's see what it is OG actually are going to go for. But obviously there is still one more ban for Na'Vi to come out. I wonder if maybe they're having the same sort of thought as me. Yeah, they are. So they take away the Axe. So they're not going to have that cool control coming out from Seb this game. No one's going to be going, Seb! Not today. I mean, it could still happen. Not going to be a big Axe call, though. And OG, they just go for the Underlord. So, yeah, it can be quite a nice setup with the Shadow Demon. You can Pit of Malice into the Disruption, put the Firestorm down on top, and then as soon as the Disruption ends, they get immediately rooted by the Pit of Malice once again. But obviously, the Underlord doesn't really want to go for early points of Pit of Malice, wants to mainly focus on that Atrophy Aura and the Firestorm. Na'Vi, they're going to go for the Zeus. So, it's going to be a lot of damage from afar, whilst the Undying and the Sven sat at the front lines making chaos. I feel like they sort of need a little bit more lockdown though, in all honesty. Vichune's got a stun, Lena's got a stun, Void Spirit's got a sword disable. I think maybe like a Dream Core from a puck would have been really beneficial for him this game. But you know, we have to see how this Zeus pickup works. You should be able to have a pretty decent time against tops in the mid lane, able to stay quite far away with those obviously farming up with the Arc Lightnings. But there is always going to be that possibility just to get burst down by the Tiny combo, because Zeus is a very squishy hero. So Icepier's going to have to be really careful on his positioning in this lane. Doesn't want to give anything free over to OG. As soon as you start the kill train, it's very difficult to put the brakes on it. But look at these lineups. Well, trying to look at these lineups. One of them is a little bit invisible. Gone for a smoke play in the ban in the drafting phase. Keck W. So yeah, looking at these lineups. There's a stain coming up from No Tail, but sort of once again, maybe OG are lacking a little bit of team fight and disable. You only really got the Avalanche from the Tiny, the Pit of Malice as well, and Disruption. That's the only sort of lockdown from the side of OG. But neither team actually has any sort of BKB piercing disables. So I imagine there's probably going to be a few BKBs this game. A lot of running around, a lot of chaos going on. But for the Void Spirit, there's not any easy targets. It's pretty much just the Eye of the Shadow Demon is going to be his main focuses in the current team fights. But then he's got to be careful. He doesn't just get somehow locked down. Saxa catches him with with Disruption. And then the Pit of Malice comes on top. The Ursa will just tear him to shreds. So we will need to be a little bit cautious. But yeah, I think looking at these lineups, I think I'm slightly favouring Na'Vi this game. Not like hugely overwhelmingly favouring, just yeah, I've got like a slight little lean towards their side. No idea what all these tips and that are going on already. Ain't got a clue what's going on. But a lot of have funs and good lucks coming out from both sides, so that's nice to see. Everyone likes a good bit of sportsmanship.
One by one.
These are interesting items by Topson. He got carried away, wanting to get that wall down as fast as possible, forgot to get any items. But that is the benefit of having carriers. It means he will be there to, he will have his items at least. And these Saxa positions themselves quite aggressively. Got that ward down. I'm not sure if anyone on the side of Na'Vi spotted them in that location. So it could be a very potential easy D-wall from Always Want to Fly. Actually, if he saw him place that, he would have already put that sentry ward down. So it will survive there for Saxa. But the sentry ward does go down instead to make sure this pool camp is blocked. So we'll make the lane slightly more difficult for Seb. as the obviously it's not going to be any easy pulls come off. Vichun going to try and win a clicking war up against Seb. Seb's not even leveled anything up yet. I thought maybe he might have gone for the Firestorm, just try and secure this bounty room. Now comes the Elix, the disruptions there as well. Makes a little bit of space. Seb's able to get the all them right clicks down, but takes a lot of damage in return though. Over half his HP. But even Midway managed to take one of the bounties up top as well, so a 3-for-1 trade there for OG. Nothing crazy, you know, it's just level 1 bounties, but a lead's a lead. And as I've said many times before, it's like half a set of tangos with that extra set that ward, so it helps out quite a lot, especially for those poor supports who aren't really going to be able to get much farm for a long time. I mean, look at the top. Midbody shouldn't really get pressured too much, as long as if No-Tail's always here to lend a helping hand. Roger, though, needs to be a little bit careful. The LSA does actually connect somehow, even though mid one did jump over it. A little weird interaction there as he sort of got caught whilst mid-jump. Then meanwhile, down bottom, Vichun, I think once Seb gets to about level 3-ish, then we only have those 2 points into the Firestorm. We'll probably see Vichun start to struggle a little bit then. But until it reaches that point, he should be alright for quite a while. I suppose it all just depends on how much space Always Wanna Fly is able to make for him. Then how's the mid lane going? 9-0 in favour of Icebergs and 7-0 Thompson. Very, very close. Hardly noteworthy at all, to be honest. But there is still a few more creeps actually to go over to Iceberg's side. So I think everything's just going to be pretty chill for a while. Not a huge amount of kill threat coming out from... I suppose actually it's relatively equal between these two teams up here. I think if Roger and General tried to go for a play, but either the Ether Remnant or the LSA is actually off the mark, then there is the potential for No-Tail mid one just to turn around and just do a lot of damage. They're actually going to go for the grab onto No-Tail. The LSA plus into the Ether Remnant is enough damage to burst down the IO. And that's actually First Blood going into General's hands. So, yeah, I mean, their skills landed. And there's nothing that OG can really do, especially for the IO, just too squishy at this point. There's a lot of burst damage. Even mid one, getting chased down. Ooh, nice dodge there with the Ether Remnant with the little jump. Not really could have died. Oh no, mid one's carry even ends up dying. Sniped there by Roger with the long range fireballs. So, I mean, in terms of kill threat down bottom, it's pretty much non-existent, to be honest with you. I don't see even one of these guys dying down here. Oh, and then I missed another kill up top lane. One killed the one lane where there is actually the potential for people to die. The General is the one to fall. Mid one cleans up that kill. I'm not quite sure what happened. Probably just missed out on the spell usage, perhaps. Now they're going to make a move to Roger. Meanwhile, down Bob. Always Want to Fly actually ends up dying. So, okay, never mind. Bob is a kill potential. General, he gets the Ether connection onto mid one. Mid one jumps forward, just about dodges the LSA, but there's still not enough damage to bring Roger down. And now mid one needs to be careful. He's actually pretty speedy. He's already got those brown boots online, so General's not going to be able to get the catch off onto him. Roger, the LSA misses. Going to take a few right clicks because of this from No-Tail. Going to pop the overcharge. There might be enough to actually bring him down. Because Roger's too slow to outpace the IO. And he does fall. Even mid one just jumping forwards. Just trying to harass out General. But down bottom, I'm not quite sure how Always Want to Fly ended up dying. Maybe he got stuck in the neutral camp, possibly. Ended up taking quite a bit of damage from that. I'm a little bit unsure. Sucks actually made a rotation to the mid. Wanted to try and apply a bit of pressure onto Iceberg. And they will actually end up forcing him back to base. David Steele, Vichun, despite the fact that Always Want to Fly did die, he's at the top of that CS chart. Having a perfectly fine time at the moment. Looks like he's just going to go for a pretty standard build of the Mask of Madness, and then most likely the Echo Saber. Sometimes we've seen Svens pick up a Hand of Midas to really try and ramp up their farming speed. don't think it's really the best game this time. You're already going to be able to outpace the farm of the Ursa. You don't need any sort of extra resistance. Unless, of course, Mid-1 does end up building the Battle Fury. There's a very big possibility. LSA collects with Roger. Just make sure they secure the top bounty. Maybe Vichun even grabbed one of the ones to the bot lane. So it actually ends up being 3 for 1. Oh, in the mid. Iceberg actually just gets a solo kill into Thompson. Not even a Thunder God's Wrath being required. Just gets a free kill. I imagine we'll probably see Thompson rotate to one of the side lanes when he respawns. And then go for a gank potential into either General or Vichun. Most likely go towards top. There's not really going to be much assistance from anyone else on the side of OG if he tries to go for move down bomb. But N0tail and Mid-1 trying to keep much pressure going forward. He's taking quite a bit of damage. The Thunder God's Wrath comes out, blows up Mid-1. N0tail goes for the tether onto the catapult, and that does get him out of there. Even still, nice little R press in there from Iceberg, and that's a free kill onto the Ursa. The power of a Zeus. You don't even have to do anything, and you get kills. Such a fun time. 6-minute runes. Thompson doesn't get lucky. Ends up spawning a bomb. Double damage as well. Pretty nice. Iceberg doesn't, you know, you probably prefer like an arcane rune or a regen rune, but yeah, double damage, he'll take it. No reason why he wouldn't. Seversarx is clearing up the creep stack as well. Maybe still just relatively even game across the board so far. Well, Thompson, he's ended up getting caught. LSA and the long range damage coming out from Iceberg. It's going to be enough to bring him down. But Thompson's going to try and get the return kill to Roger before he dies. Not enough. He just barely survives. The final arc 9 from Iceberg just shocks him in the back and brings him down. The double damage rune was popped, but I don't think Iceberg even got any right clicks in there. It was all just spell usage. Despite the fact that it feels like Mid-1's had relatively free time up top, I mean, there's been a lot of constant pressure coming out from both sides, to be honest. But even still, like, I thought he'd be a little bit further up in the CS chart. Maybe somewhere around where Vichun is. Obviously, it's not like there's a huge amount of difference between the two. Only 9 CS. But at this point, everything little helps. It all starts racking up towards the total net worth in the end. Oh, looks like Suxer. Might be able to find the grab on towards one fly. Spots out the fact that there's a ward there, but always want to fly, obviously, with that ward. Able to get a distance by the Avalanche into the fog. Just about connects on towards one fly, but he's still going to be close up. Goes to the toss straight up in the air. But now, Suxer just ends up getting caught out by Vichun and Roger. He gets brought down. Even Iceberg want to rotate around, but he would change his mind. Going to head back towards that mid lane. Most sort of further lockdown to keep that Sven in place. And General now getting gone on by Mid-1, but there's a rotation coming out from Iceberg up towards his top lane. They want to try and get the kill onto this Ursa. He doesn't have his rage to survive. And Mid-1 actually ends up dying. Even N0tail gets caught by the remnant there from General. Lovely movements by Na'Vi. Finding those 2 very nice kills. Especially that high priority one of the Ursa. Suxer just about managed to guarantee the arcane rune there for Thompson and let him in the kill. Iceberg tried to sneak in for the side and maybe even deny out that arcane rune, but just couldn't quite get there in time. So I wonder what sort of build we're going to see come up from Thompson in this game. Is he just going to go for like a Blink Dagger rush to try and get onto the back lines of Na'Vi, perhaps? Maybe he might try and transition to a right click. Oh, but he's not going to be able to do anything if he's dead. And sure enough, he is. Vichun slapped him down in the face with that God Strength activate. Enough control there from Roger, making sure there was no retreat for Thompson. But, you know, meanwhile all that's going on, Seb, he's got plenty of space, ends up finding the tier 1 down bot lane. And, you know, as he's an Underlord, they just don't like rotating whatsoever, so he's just going to keep applying constant pressure onto this tier 2. Things coming out there for Roger, maybe thinking about making a rotation to try and net a kill onto the Underlord, but I'm not going to bother going for it. Just going to let the creeps poke at it. Seb doesn't want to get too risky, potentially throw his life away. Now it's reached that point in the game where it's a new mid-battle, 1v1, Suxer and Roger. Never mind, Sucker's already bailed. Roger is victorious! Woo! Well, Smoke actually from Sucker. Connected to No-Tail as well. They're the only two. They're going on the hunt, seeing if they can find somebody else. Sucker's actually going to run into Roger in the end. With the disruption, going to try and control him up. But General's even got involved. Gets the Remnant connection there onto Thompson. Now Thompson needs to be a little bit careful. The Laguna Blade gets committed into his face. Plus the long range damage coming out from Iceberg. The Tiny will fall. And that was a defensive relocate from No-Tail. But it was too late. Thompson had already died. So now No-Tail's just going to die as well. That's a real feels bad, man. Easy Ether Remnant setup. No-Tail. Oh! He actually survived for a really long time. I think maybe Iceberg was just waiting to see if there was a potential tether coming out. To try and cancel it with that little tiny mini stun. Source mid one building. He is going for that Battle Fury. Not going to be a million miles off of it. It's about 900, about 1700 gold away. Even Seb's now decided to get involved in the mid lane. Gonna start sitting his tanky body here. Probably just constantly trying to apply pressure onto the tier 1 in the mid. But I mean, you saw all those shocks coming out from Iceberg. Just Seb's HP bar just hardly moving at all. Very difficult to try and apply a lot of pressure onto an Underlord. Especially seems like he's already got that Hood of Defiance. A lovely, lovely extra magic resistance. Creep pulls at 11.5 minutes. It's the real easiest way that Sucker could try and farm up. As well as pull the creep wave back towards the tier 1 tower. Just wants to make sure that any sort of farming he can get is as safe as possible. And it's definitely a good habit to get into. Rather than just like, you know, following the lane down and end up trying to farm it here. It's a very dangerous spot. Now mid 1 and No-Tail just going to start working on this bot lane now as the key farming area for mid 1. Always going to be obviously the relocate possibility coming out if the rest of OG ends up finding any sort of opening. It's a lot of standoffs at the moment. No team really wanting to go for any big aggressive plays. Just all quite happy to just carry on farming away. But, you know, that generally does just favour a Sven, though. The farmer speed that you can have is always very difficult to match. But mind you, there's only like 500 gold difference between mid 1 and V-Tune right now, which isn't really that much. Seeing as how the Sven obviously has that greater cleave to really increase his farming speed. Oh, Thompson. Well, maybe he might just try to go for the grab that onto General. Thompson's really suffered this game. He's only level 8. Meanwhile, General was actually level 9. This is a very low leveled Tiny at the moment. Got punished quite a lot. Obviously 1 and 4 as well. Very far down the net worth chart. 6th place. Nearly 1,000 gold behind the off lane of the opposite team. So he's just got 1,200 gold sat in his pocket. Probably will just see him saving up for that Blink Dagger, try and make some moves that way. But it looks like Na'Vi tried to go for the grab onto a couple of members of OG down bot lane. It looks like No-Tail will end up falling. No save coming out. There's nothing that mid 1 can do. Just watch his poor little support end up dying. But he does have his Battle Fury online. So that gap lead that you would normally see between a Nurse and a Sven is actually just going to shrink even more now that he has this key item online. So yeah, V-Tune, he's got his Master Commanders, he's got his Echo Saber, and then he's going straight for the BKB. Wants to make sure he's not constantly getting locked down by pits or disruptions, avalanches. Just wants free reign over the battlefield, can run to and fro wherever he likes. Three heroes from Na'Vi in the mid, even Iceberg TPing up top, so they want to try and set up a gank onto Saxa. And I think this should be a pretty free kill. Oh, even the Nimbus Cloud come in there from Iceberg. Just make sure there's no escape for the Shadow Demon. There's a defensive disruption, but V-Tune's just going to slap him in the face with an AoE. He actually doesn't even need to. Iceberg even secures the little last hit there of chucking in one little arc lightning. And it should be the tier 1 tower on the side of OG falling now in the safe lane. But, you know, this is a little bit of space for potentially OG to apply a bit of pressure to tier 2. But there's a couple of rotations coming out from Na'Vi. Maybe we'll try and defend this, but OG, they've already backed out. So maybe they're not going to find anything. Oh, Relocate coming out there from N0tail, going all towards the mid lane. The Seb has found the initiator, so always on the fly. It is just the, this is the Undying, but even still, that's free money. And if you've got these sort of longish cooldown ultimates, you want to try and use them as much as you can to really get the efficiency out of them. And even Sucks is going to be able to find the kill onto the Tombstone. But N0tail did actually end up dropping at the bot lane as the Relocate put him straight back into the reach of Roger in general. Thompson's heading up to the top. There is V-Tune and Iceberg both up here, but he doesn't actually end up running into him. I think he might have got himself screwed over. He did actually. Ooh, in the mid lane, Seb. He's trying to root everyone out. Mid one's getting pretty low. Going to try and get out of there, but the jump forward from General, trying to keep him knocked down. Not going to be able to find it. The LSA connects up to Seb, holds him down. The jump in from Thompson, the avalanche toss combo brings down Always Want to Fly. The General got pretty low, but he just managed to get it dissimulate and get the hell out of there. So it's just the position 5 that Na'Vi have lost. Not the end of the world. Oh, N0tail mid one. They're just wrapping around the side, trying to find something else. They get controlled up by the LSA though, so they can't actually find any more kills. But, I mean, with these sort of team fights, OG is not relying on long cooldown ultimates whatsoever. Like, every single one of these heroes has the potential to actually apply pressure and fight, despite the fact of not having their ultimates. I think probably the most key one is the Rage and the Demonic Purge from Suxa. Those are probably the key ones. Meanwhile, though, Na'Vi, they've always got to make sure if there's ever a team fight, they've got the God's Strength online. Plus, it'd be pretty handy to have the Nimbus and Thunder God's Wrath as well. Definitely increases their damage output in the actual fights themselves. I think mid one really wants to get this tier 2 tower down before the 20-minute mark. Try and take away the outpost of Na'Vi and gain a little XP lead. He should be able to get it. There's no glyph available to try and delay this out. The General's rotating around here himself, and even TP's coming in from the rest of Na'Vi. They want to try and get a free kill. It looks like N0tail will be the sacrificial lamb. Gets Stormhammer in the face and brought down. Mid one even pops his Rage very defensively just so he can escape. Sucks needs to be careful now. He's just trailing in the back. He's not fast enough to get out there. The Remnant comes forward, actually just slightly off the mark. V-Tune with the Stormhammer there, but Sucks easily able to dodge that with the Disruption. We'll see what else is going to happen. Thompson jumps straight into the backlines. Wants to try and burst on Iceberg. It's not enough damage yet. Zeus is still pretty healthy. Thompson managed to get out there with his life. Wasn't punished for that sort of aggressive movement. And no one else actually ends up dropping either. Just both teams having a little tussle, but no one actually gets really close to being low. So I wonder what Iceberg's next item's going to be. He's going to go for something simple like a Yule Scepter perhaps. Like a little bit defensive to deal with the Ursa. Ooh, in the building. In the mid, sorry. No, just a few spells. It's very difficult to try and go for that kill. Especially seeing as how it's literally just the 2 supports and the offlaner. Hardly any damage on these 3 heroes. So they made the correct call bailing out. They could have had a very bad situation if they tried to overcommit him. Obviously no Relocate though from N0tail that would have been able there to punish it, but even still. Good discipline. There's too many times in like your pubs, your team would just see, oh look, it's a hero, he's all alone, let's just kill him. And completely forget that, wait, this hero is an Underlord, maybe we can't kill him. Now Na'Vi, they're going for a smoke up play, and looks like they're just to go straight for the Roche, as V-Tune's already just sat in there waiting. And it doesn't look like OG's going to realise what's going on. They've done a smoke up play of their own, but they're heading the wrong direction. They're not going to find anyone over it. They need to hurry, if they're going to spot this out, they need to hurry up quickly. There's Roche already down to half HP. And yeah, OG have no clue this is going on whatsoever. This is the freest Roche for Na'Vi. So now Aegis in the hands of V-Tune. I think OG just really want to take down this tier 2 tower now before that 20-minute mark. Want to make sure that they get some sort of advantage out of this. The TP from V-Tune and a couple of others. They want to make sure this tier 2 stays standing. Loads of TP rotations. V-Tune leading the charge with the BKB activated immediately by mid-1. The Pit of Malice collects onto everyone. Everyone's dropping so low. General just gets burst down with a jump forward from Thompson. Even Roger ends up falling. The first life of V-Tune is gone. He doesn't have any sort of thing to work with. And now he's just left all alone. That's just going to be a free kill. Eventually dies. Lovely play by OG there, abusing the fact that only 3 heroes on the side of Na'Vi actually came over to try and stop that take. They needed everyone. I mean, there was TPs available for Iceborne Fly and Iceberg, but they just didn't bother. And OG, now let's get free damage onto tier 3. But the two heroes on the side of Na'Vi are about to respawn, so they will back out. Oh, even up top. They found a free kill onto Iceberg as well. The Redicate coming out from NoTail in mid one. Grabs that Zeus. Easy peasy. Open him. Down bottom. Sebs is still sat around here. Not really scared about any sort of response coming out. And mid one feels safe just to start hitting onto the tier 3, seeing as how the Zeus is still down. He does have buyback though. But it would be pretty harsh if he's forced to use it, especially seeing as he's only up in 18 seconds. This is starting to get a little bit out of hand now for Na'Vi. It's OG getting really scary force now in these fights. I mean, the play together Roche was really nice by Na'Vi to get that advantage, but just immediately losing it down to that attempted hold the tier 2 tower and had no HP. A little bit of a too risky play. It ends up costing him quite badly, but now they're going to make a move on to Seb. Jump forward to the Nimbus is on top of him. It looks like he will probably end up falling for this. There's just so much getting committed for him, and he will drop, especially with the Laguna Blade there from Roger. Brings Seb down. Everyone's going to start taking down that tier 1 tower and push on forwards. But, you know, as people would say, that space created. Everyone on the side of Na'Vi was down bottom, so the rest of OG felt pretty safe. An immediate smoke coming out from the side of Na'Vi as well. 3 heroes heading towards their triangle, but no one was actually in this vicinity. Everyone sort of bailed out, moved into their own jungle now. So unfortunately for them, they're not going to find anything out of this. Oh, actually, they spot the fact that Thompson's in the down in their own jungle with that ward. General leading the charge. Nimbus is on top as well. He will be able to do quite a bit of damage with the control up, the Dragon Slave and the LSA. Thompson was just permanently disabled. Nothing he could do. So this is good by Na'Vi. This is like a good bit of guerrilla warfare. You know, you're just poking and prodding. You're getting picks where you can. You do realise that you're a little bit weaker when it comes to actual 5-on-5 fights at the moment. So just find small openings. Always make sure there's a hero advantage for your team, and that will make it very, very difficult for OG to try and take any sort of main fights. Nope. General tried going for the sneaky grab there onto NoTail, but obviously Eul Scepter does not break the tether. Unfortunately for him. If it did, that would have been a nice play. Another smoke coming up from Na'Vi. All 5 heroes this time. And it looks like Seb will be the target once again. General leading the charge. Eul Scepter's there. Thundergust Raptors to get a little bit of sight. Who else is around? Sarkar actually gets spotted. The Nimbus actually gets put to the high ground. Even the long range Laguna Blade there from Roger brings him down. And now Seb left in a 1 versus 5. He gets dropped. There was actually quite a few rotations coming out from the rest of OG, but they just could not get there fast enough. So again, another 2 kills for Na'Vi. Just making really good movements around this map, finding their openings. And it's just slowly cutting this net worth lead down, bit by bit. Eventually, he still goes Godstrength activate, and he just finds a free opening onto Thompson. He gets melted. Mid one and NoTail need to be careful, they're all alone. NoTail getting controlled up in the background by Roger. Mid one just in there, all on his own. But even just him there, Na'Vi just a little bit too scared, especially seems like Godstrength's over. Vici wants to back out, but General was blocking him, says, get in there, boy. You ain't going back. Now they need to start being careful. A few more members of OG get it around. The BKB activated by Mid1. Now he's going to try and man up against Vici. Vici pops his BKB, but all he can do is run away. Gets bashed through it, held in place, and he drops. Now he's one of Fly starting to get focused up. He's probably going to end up dropping as well. There is the Eul Scepter trying to make a bit of space, but NoTail even ends up dropping. Too much fast coming out from the Zeus. Now it is this Mid1 left all alone. He does get the kill on time, but the buyback from NoTail, wanting to make sure he can get back in there and help Mid1 out as much as he possibly can. And there will be enough to net them a kill onto the Lina as well. So triple kill actually ends up going there for Mid1. So it ended up working out quite nicely there for the side of OG. It started a little bit bumpy, but it's just too much of an overcommittal there from Na'Vi. They should have just cut their losses and gotten the hell out of there. Now this Ursus is getting real scary. Super close now to having the Abyssal Blade as well. Going to be able to melt people super quick once they gets on top of them with that. Swasfiltune actually building up as his next item. Still working towards that Axe. Obviously his point booster did just get killed in the courier, so he's not going to have it for a minimum of 2 minute 40. What is Iceberg building up? Got the Kaios. He's probably just working towards that Bloodstone, I imagine. So all 5 members of OG coming towards this mid lane. Maybe want to see if they can get grab onto anyone trying to possibly defend the tier 2 tower, but a lot of their movements get spotted by the by this high ground ward. Saxa did scout the fact that there is a observer ward here with the shadow poison, but he needs to be a little bit careful. All 5 members, well I say all 5, V-Tune's off farming away, so he won't get jumped by the Sven at least, but there's still another 4 members from Na'Vi all gathered around. Now Saxa's going to try and get into the Darnay, but General read the move, jumps forward, gets the kill to Saxa, an easy sell for the LSA, but meanwhile that's happened. Mid-1 and Thompson just find an even better pick-off onto Iceberg. So very favourable trade there for OG, losing their 5 and taking away the heavy damage dealer on the side of Na'Vi. It's going to be the potential for them to make some move happen. The jump forward from Thompson. Tosses always want to fly back into the rest of OG. Enough that the Undying can do to survive that. Way too much damage coming out from the Ursa. Somehow Seb gets the last hit. It's tier 2 in the mid falls. No Undying or Sven for quite a while, so this will be a lot of free damage coming out from the side of OG. Oh, they even get the net there onto General plus the Abyssal Blade. Oh, when the stun comes out for V-Tune, just able to keep him alive. Move to Dissimulate and the actual step out. General will actually escape with his life. Just barely though. Now Iceberg's back. There will be the Q for OG just to retreat. They've done quite a nice chunk of damage. They don't need to go for anything else. Ooh, Iceberg. He gets actually a free kill there onto Saxa all alone. Mid-1 does clean up the Nimbus, so at least it's a little bit even on the gold trade in that respect. But even still, again, it's a kill at least. It is just the Shadow Demon. Not the highest priority of kills, but a kill's a kill. Roshan, very long respawn time, but still another 2 minutes 20. So no team's going to really be able to capitalise on a super early Rosh timing. I think even if it was spawned, Na'Vi would probably struggle to kill it that quickly. OG have the possibility just to delete it in seconds with the Ursa. Just a natural Roshan killer, really. Even working towards the Skadi's his next item. Oh, relocate coming out. They're going to try and go for a gank onto V-Tune all alone, but he's managed to get out there just in time. And Spirits of No Tail couldn't connect to try and slow the Sven down, so he will escape with his life. Mid-1 though. Trying to wrap around the side. Doesn't actually end up spotting the Void Spirit. So he's TP'd away in the trees. But even still, OG all just constantly grouped up as 5 now, just waiting for the opportunity to spring onto Na'Vi and tear him to pieces. And they are just waiting for that Rosh though. It's coming up pretty soon. V-Tune at least has his Ags now for the next fight. So there is going to be that possibility for him to easily get on top of the back lines, the Io and the Shadow Demon. And try and reduce the combat effectiveness on the side of OG. Mid-1 just leading the charge. A bit of a connector to Always Fly, but immediately gets Yules up, plus the LSA, controlling the Ursa up in place. Always Fly stays to do one little whack onto the Ursa. Very ballsy thing to do. Even still, they're just poking and prodding, doing quite a bit of damage onto him. He's going to force Mid-1 to actually flee back towards the river and the safety of the rest of his team. So just both teams just really too scared to go for a full fight committal, just waiting for the other team to slip up perhaps and then try and capitalise on that. Very difficult to take a fight when the other team's constantly grouped as 5. Mid-1 actually swaps his build out, ends up going, he's queued up a Satanic instead to go for a little bit of extra tank. Meanwhile, V-Tune going for that Assault Cuirass. Wants to try and increase the survivability of the rest of his team, as well as make everyone else on the side of OG just that little bit squishier. But as soon as that Roast respawned, Midbomb was ready and waiting to go for it. Obviously, there's a spell spams coming out from the side of Na'Vi just to try and scout this out. And they're just ready and waiting to pounce as soon as as soon as the Rosh gets to low enough HP. The Nimbus very early there. Doesn't find anything. Midbomb though goes to the BKB, jumps straight onto General, trying to lock him in place. There is a Pit of Malice control, but even so, General able to get the Evil Scepter up, locked down by the Pit of Malice once again. He does fall. The immediate buyback, want to get over it as fast as they possibly can. But that was OG getting a free pick off there and not having to use any big cooldown abilities, as their team composition is not reliant on it whatsoever. But Na'Vi eventually go for a smoke up play. Going to wrap around into the jungle, jump forward there from General, gets the connection onto Thompson. But Thompson goes for the avalanche onto both the two cores, did quite a bit of damage to the Iceberg, forced him to fall back. Will even pop the Thundergor's Wrath, trying to make him assistance, but it looks like Iceberg will get caught out in the end. Vichu trying to stand his ground against the Ursa, but it's just way too difficult. Midwell finds the easy kill, and then he goes to the hunt for Roger, dodges the easy LSA. And the Lina will end up falling. Even always want to fly, end up dropping in the background to Thompson on the hump. Generally, actually gets spot out here by Suxa. Trying to find one more. Just constantly reading the moves there from General. Gets the disruption grab. Midone's going to easily be able to get on top of him. You'll step through there defensively. And plus the dissimulate up to the high ground. That's not going to be enough to save you, as the Ursa can still whack you down from below. It ends up being a team wipe. Meanwhile, Thompson and December just whacking onto the tier 3s. Gonna try and take this lane of barracks down. Don't care about the kill onto the Void Spirit whatsoever. Midbomb gonna clean up the Rosh. These two clean up the mid lane. They will bail out before quite a few members of the side of Na'Vi end up respawning. So now this is looking really rough for the side of Na'Vi. They need to try and do what they were doing earlier and just hunting down for any sort of solo heroes on the side of OG and get easy pickoffs. And just try and slowly worm and wiggle their way back into this game and try and become dominant force again. But it's quite difficult, especially when this Ursa is already a real fat beast. Difficult thing to try and contend with in these fights. And so Vichu's so far away from actually being able to finish up this Assault Cuirass, as well as being able to forward buyback. Still needs another 850 gold for that. At least there's a pretty decent wave here for him to clean up. Gets a nice chunk of gold. But even still, OG, they're just not laying up any sort of pressure. Just jumping straight for that tier 3 at the bot lane. And there's nothing that Na'Vi can do. They just watch their tier 3 tower fall. Jump forward from Vichu. We'll try and get back as fast as we can. But the Bismarck commit there from Midbomb takes tons of damage, especially with the DPS there from the Suxons. It's quite a lot. But Vichu, he's trying to run away, but he just can't get out there fast enough. He ends up dropping 70 seconds with no buyback. Godlike for Midbomb. Double SA actually connects. They move down No Tail with the Laguna Blade as well. Melts down the IO. So at least they've got hero advantage. But jump forward from Thompson. Gets the grab on Iceberg. He gets deleted. Gone for a minute again. No buyback as well. Now Roger gets deleted. And GG's is cool from Na'Vi. They realise they're out of this one. Really well played there by OG. Hit their timings and just went straight on in there. Made that a real difficult game for Na'Vi. It felt like Na'Vi nearly managed to slowly work their way back into that game. They got about 4 or so pickoffs in a row without losing any heroes. But just that little bit of an overcommittal in that mid lane, trying to get the extra kill onto Ursa. It ends up just throwing away what little lead they were trying to build up. And then after that, it just felt like there was nothing they could do. Every single engagement just went heavily towards OG's favour. And sure enough, they end up taking the game. So well played there by OG. Obviously leading the series 2-0 now. And it's quite an important series. The loser of this is knocked out of the entire tournament. So Na'Vi, they're gonna have to bring something else to the table for the game too. Otherwise, they will just be forced out of the tournament already. And that's definitely not an outcome they want to have. So see if they're able to push it to game 3 or not. I'm sure it'll be an exciting match nonetheless. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this game, please think about liking the video if you're watching it on YouTube, or subscribing as well. I appreciate any sort of help I can get. But yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys for game 2. I'll see you then. Thanks for watching that video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it and the content I was able to provide. I am just starting out, so if you did like it and you want to support me in the future, then please think about following and subscribing to me on Twitch, Twitter and YouTube. I post on Twitter what events I plan on covering in the future and when I'm actually able to do some casts. I don't have the most free time in the world, unfortunately, so I can't provide constant content, but I can guarantee you every single time that I do cast, I'm giving it my all because I have a lot of passion for it, and hopefully that does come off. So once again, hopefully you guys enjoyed it and you stick around for the next video. So hopefully I see you guys there. Cheers.